Good afternoon. Good? Boy, got to work on that one. Well, I am back and glad to be here from our little trip. As you can see, one of the places we went was Mark Twain's cave. More about that in a minute. And we're going to talk about iPhone gestures today on GoFor Lunch for July 21st, 2026. Brought to you by GoFor Technology. I am Roger Harmon, your host, here to make your technology work for you. Well, it is National Junk Food Day. You know, that food that we know it's not good for us, but it's just so convenient sometimes. And I have a link in the description below that tells you a little bit more about junk food. So it's very humorous and very educational. So make sure and check that out. Well, you may be wondering why I am wearing a hat. Well, I'm celebrating the United States of America's 250th anniversary. So this is my way of celebrating that auspicious event, and I wore it all the way to Hannibal, Missouri and beyond. This is the Mark Twain Lighthouse, and there is the Mark Twain riverboat on the mighty Mississippi River. And here is a little story. As we were leaving the Mark Twain cave, a local police car from Hannibal pulled up. You can't quite read this, but it says home of Mark Twain right here under police. And of course, the distinctive skull and crossbones, or cross swords, I guess, on the car, which is somewhat unusual for a police vehicle. So as we were leaving, the female officer that was driving the car walked out, and Bob stuck his head out the window and said, "Shouldn't you be wearing an eye patch?" And she said, "Arg." So that was one of the eventful parts of our trip. So here we are at the Mark Twain Cave entrance. We had a great tour. We had two of us in the tour, so it was very personalized. And here is Macstock, the real reason that I have been gone. So there was over 100 people there, and we had the first day was Ecamm, the software used to produce this, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was Macstock presentations, which were very educational and inspirational. And we had a great time. I actually was kind of a working holiday. I did the Ecamm video production for the 3 days. So I did the video and audio that will be available as a digital pass in a few weeks. So stay tuned for that. Well, let's talk about iPhone gestures. iPhones have many features, but some of those are not highlighted by Apple as well as others. So we're going to explore some of the little known features. We're going to mix in some of the well-known features just so we can have a complete picture of what your iPhone can do when you use gestures. So first we have the home bar. That's not a place where you serve drinks. That is the little slim line at the bottom of your screen, and it really replaced the home button on older iPhones, and it's visible in some apps and it's invisible in others, but the functionality is still there. So it's always ready for a gesture. So you can swipe up from the home bar to close an app. You can return to the home screen by doing that. And you can also swipe up from the home bar and do what I call an upside down L. Or you can just swipe up and pause and then that will open the multitasking screen. So it will show all of your recently used apps. So let me get my iPhone turned on here and unlocked. There we go. So for some reason my switching is a little slow today, so we'll just have to work with that. So let's go here. So we have the home bar is not visible right now. So if we're in an app, let's say we're in the Maps app. So now you can see, for a briefly moment you saw the home bar. And now we want to go to a different app. So we're going to swipe up and this pause, or we can do a L shape, the backwards L shape. And now we can see all of the apps that we have previously used. So that's great. So when you slide the home bar to the left or right after you've slid it to the right, to the left, you can instantly switch from your last used app without opening the multitasking screen. So let's see how that works. So we'll go back to our home screen. So now I have to kind of move the iPhone a little bit because the little stand gets in the way. So I'll swipe to the left. Come on. I'm sorry. There we go. Swipe to the right. Swipe to the right. Then you can swipe to the left. Swipe to the right. Swipe to the right. Swipe to the right. And so forth. So you can see how that works. And then swipe up to get back to the home screen. So if you double tap the home bar, it will open a discrete text field where you can type any request to the S Assistant. Notice I'm trying not to say the name S-I-R-I, so I don't trip up everybody's S-I-R-I. So we're going to call it the S Assistant. And so that's useful if you're in a quiet place. So we're going to go back here. So we're going to double tap right here at the bottom. You can see my finger. And there it is. It says, you can maybe read that. It says ask S-A-S-I-R-I. And sometimes it will bring up suggestions up here above that text box. So it will suggest some things that you could ask. So I would just type maybe, what would I type? Camera, let's see. So there are the suggestions. So here's an interesting one. Find Chris Wesselman. Let's see what happens there. Looks like Chris Wesselman doesn't share their location with you in Find My. Well, I'm not surprised. We did have Find My turned on for our trip, so that's why it said that. So speaking of searching, you can swipe down between the icons on the home screen to get to the search. On newer iOS versions, you can just press on the search at the lower part of the screen. So the old way was to swipe down in between, and then you see here we have the search right here. And we're going to cancel that out and swipe up to get back. But on the newer versions of iOS, you have this search button right here, so that's much easier. I'm kind of old school. I still search in the old way because it's just a habit. So let's talk about swiping up to dismiss an app. In the old days, that used to be a way to save battery. In modern times, that is a way to waste the battery. So it actually uses more battery when you dismiss all those apps than just leaving them alone. So just let them stay there. The only time you want to swipe up to dismiss an app is if the app is misbehaving. So that will quit the app, and then you can tap on it again to restart it. And many times that will take care of the problem you were having. So screenshots, hopefully you know how to do this, but in case you don't, you press the side button and the volume up button at the same time, and you capture a screenshot instantly. And then you can click on the little share sheet, which is the box with the up arrow in it, and you have lots of different options. So let's see how that works. So here we are, and we're going to swipe up to get to the home screen, and we're going to go to this app, which is called Raindrop, which is like having a rain gauge on your iPhone. So it says that the rest of the day they expect to have 0.02 inches of rain. Now if I want to take a picture of this, I'm going to click on the power button on the side here and the up volume button here, and then I get a screenshot, and then I'm going to press on the share sheet up here, and then you can see I can airdrop it, I can message it, I can mail it, I can put it in notes, I can put it in reminders, I can put it in my journal, I can copy it. So let's say I'm going to send this to Bob. Bob just got back from his trip, and so he's not here right now, but he'll get this. So I sent it to Bob, and then you can go back to the share sheet if you want and save it someplace, or you can just click on the X here and get rid of it, and now we're back at the app that we were sharing. So let's talk about the side button. So when you click the side button once, as you probably know, you can lock your phone. When you press and hold to summon the S Assistant without saying it, that is another use of the side button. So let's go back here to our phone. So I'm going to press and hold the side button over here. What can you tell me? So there's the S Assistant giving me things that she can tell me, and she's still listening to me and typing everything I say. Isn't that wonderful? She didn't get that, but she will in September. So something else the side button can do that maybe you didn't know is you can double click it to launch Apple Pay. Now, of course, when you're in a store and you put your phone near the terminal, it will automatically open Apple Pay, but if you want to open it at another time, you can just double click on the side button thus. So you have to do it pretty quick. Click, click. And there it is, the Apple Wallet looking for my face, and can't see it from this angle, so that can be handy sometimes. But wait, there's more. You can triple click the side button to activate your accessibility shortcuts. Actually, that should be say shortcuts, because you can have a choice of accessibility shortcuts to choose from. So you have to set that up first. In the settings, you go to accessibility and accessibility shortcuts. So let's do that right now. So we're going to go to accessibility, or to settings, scroll down a little bit to accessibility, scroll down a lot to, oops, hit the wrong hit. So accessibility shortcut, you see right here. And then you have a whole list of possible accessibility features that you can select. So you select them by tapping on them and a little check mark appears. So I've got several checked here. So now I want to go back out here and I triple click. So you have to be pretty quick at this. Click, click, click. There we go. So now you can see my accessibility shortcuts. So here's another little bonus tip. You can mirror your Apple Watch. So here's my Apple Watch right there. And look at that. The same thing that's on my screen is now on my iPhone. And I can go here, and this is my activity so far today. I can scroll up just like I would on my watch. And there's the weather. So that's a pretty tricky little feature, I think. Don't you? So that's accessibility shortcuts. So if you press and hold the side button and the volume button simultaneously, you will activate power off. But the feature I want to explain next is the emergency SOS options plus your medical ID. So that is, you press and hold the side button. So let's go back. So we're on our side button over here, our volume up button over here, and we're going to press and hold. And now you see we have the slide to turn off. We have slide to get the medical ID for first responders, and we have this slide to activate SOS, which will automatically call 911 and your designated contacts that you've set up in the health app. So hopefully you never need that, but if you do, here it is. Just press and hold until it comes up. So if you quickly press and hold the volume up, then the volume down, and then you press and hold the side button, and you hold it until the Apple logo appears, and you ignore the slide to power off, the iPhone will do a force restart. And this is what you want to do when the iPhone is misbehaving. This is the first troubleshooting technique to use, and many times that will solve the problem. So you press and hold volume up, press and hold volume down, and then you press and release volume up, then volume down, and then hold on the power button and wait for the Apple logo to appear, and then that will reset the phone. So it's a good thing to know, first thing to do. If you call me, I'll probably ask you if you've done that. I'm not going to do that because it takes too long to restart the phone. So let's talk about navigating your cursor. So the best way is to press and hold your finger on the text that you want to modify until a little loop magnifier appears. And then you can move it slowly to drop the cursor between any two letters. So let's see how that works. So we're going to cancel our SOS here, and I'm going to use Face ID. Oh, I guess I can't. Excuse me, I can't. After I've done the SOS, you have to put in your password. Okay, so there we are. So let's go to a mail message, for example. So now I'm going to press and hold, so you can see there's a little circle and it's highlighted the word creators. So if I move it, so it's expanding the little handles, so the little blue circles are called handles, and it's going the other way. So it and then you see the little pop-up says copy, select all, and you have other options here. When you click the little right arrow, you could translate it, you could search on the web, you could share it. So that's a good way. So another thing you can do to select a word, you just press and hold for a second, and that will select the word. Of course, you can expand it then by moving the little handle out. So that's very handy when you're trying to edit something. So again, you tap and hold on any word to select it, and then you can delete it, edit it, or overwrite it. And I think on older iOS versions, you maybe had to do a double tap to select a word. So that brings us to questions. And my little favor, if you would be so kind as to send the Gopher Gazette to just one Apple user that you know, so we can help more people. And our friends at Zoom have updated the Zoom Workplace program once more to 7.1.5. So if you haven't updated, make sure that's up to date. And do me a favor, give me a like on YouTube there. That will have YouTube show this to more people. So let's see what you have got to say here. So I'm going to bring the questions over here. And let's see. Alice reinforced the fact that it's National Junk Food Day. And let's see here. So I don't know what you mean. Oh, but hopefully I highlighted a feature that you didn't know about. So that's the whole idea here, is to, and then Chris turned off his location so we can't stalk him around town. And Chris mentions that we can set the double click or triple click speed in accessibility, which is very handy. Slow it down if needed. So that is good, because you have to do it really fast in default mode. So look for that accessibility feature to slow down the speed of your double and triple click. So great tip there, Chris. Thank you. Chris is our accessibility expert. So glad to have him on board here today. So if you think of anything else that you'd like to know about, you can email me or you can call me, and that information is coming up right now. So have a great week, and we'll see you next Tuesday at high noon for another Go for Lunch.